This is the Enhanced Campaigns webinar for June 13th. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. To begin with, I just wanted to cover off on a few administrative points. This webinar, along with most of our webinars that are run, will be recorded and made available to you through the help section after the session is done. Those of you who have registered will also receive a copy through a follow-up email. So please do look out for that. Also, all of the topics that we're covering today will be referenced in our help section, especially in the Enhanced Campaigns section. So please feel free to utilize the articles in there for any additional information that you may need. And as always, feel free to reach out to your account teams for any questions that are very specific to your accounts. My name is Mikiko Muraoka, and I will be your presenter today. If you do have any questions during this webinar, there is a questions box in the webinar system that you can type in your questions, and we will get to those at the end of the session, time permitting. So if you do have any questions during this webinar, feel free to utilize the questions box and type in your questions, and I will address them towards the end of the webinar. Okay, and we will get started here. Once again, we'll be covering a few things regarding subjects regarding enhanced campaigns. A quick agenda here to give you an overview. We will cover the URL migration support and process briefly in this webinar. If you did join our past webinars on this topic, you may be already familiar with the process. Conversely, if you've already gone through the URL updates, this will sound very familiar to you. We will cover the ifmobile, ifnotmobile ValueTrack parameter in depth today, including the Marin URL builder support around these new ValueTrack parameters. We've actually received a good number of questions surrounding this set of ValueTrack parameters. So I'm going to take this webinar to kind of go over the URL builder support and some best practices and a few not-to-dos during today's session. I'll also cover off on platform support within Marin for enhanced campaigns. Again, if you've attended our past webinars or our feature enhancements webinars, you may have seen some of these features. So we'll go over those, and I'll quickly cover off on Yahoo Japan Unified Campaign support and what is available now. And then I will also go in and show everyone how you can all access most of this information through our Enhanced Campaign Resource Center within the Help section. Just to quickly go over what the Enhanced Campaign support will look like for our marketers is that you will be contacted, if you haven't already, by your account teams to discuss specific URL updates to append the device ValueTrack parameter. So this ValueTrack parameter will allow you to track performance by device. So once your accounts are running enhanced campaigns and all of the targeting is lumped into one campaign, this is the parameter that's going to allow you to have reporting broken out by device. Once again, everything will be available in our help center, help section, and the Enhanced Campaigns Resource Center. So if you do have any questions regarding what we're going over, it's a great resource for you guys to look at after this session. If you do want to migrate your own URLs, please still contact your account team just so that they can cover off on best practices and just to make sure there isn't anything that you may be missing with your account setup that needs any sort of updating or requirements outside of adding the device ValueTrack parameter. So the Certified URL Migration Program is how Marin is supporting our marketers through the process of updating their URLs in order to be ready for enhanced campaign merges. A few points of distinction that I want to make. I know there is a lot of different terminology that is being thrown around, and we're all getting used to new terms, new concepts with this enhanced campaign update. But I did want to make 2 points of clarification here, and that's, what is a campaign migration or a merge versus a URL migration or update. So you might hear these terms a lot. So just covering off on what a campaign migration or a merge is this is when you take, say, your desktop targeted campaign and your mobile targeted campaign, and you migrate them or you merge them together into one enhanced campaign. Now, there's a lot of different ways people are doing this. Some people are choosing to create a brand new campaign. If you do choose to do so, please keep in mind that you're going to be starting fresh, which means it will have an effect on your quality scores. Many people are also choosing to bring in anything that's in your mobile campaigns or whichever campaign between desktop and mobile that has the most robust keyword set, to use that as the parent and take the smaller campaign and put it into that parent campaign. The plus side to that is, you're not going to be resetting all of your quality score. So 2 ways that I'm seeing my clients do it, and those are a few different caveats to keep in mind. Creating new, obviously all new quality scores. If you do bring one campaign into the other, whatever you're not touching, so if it's your desktop campaign, that's going to be the parent, those creatives, those keywords will retain their quality score. The other term that we are hearing a lot and using a lot that may get confusing due to the word migration is around your URLs. So URL migration or update involves ensuring that the device ValueTrack parameter is appended to your URLs. This parameter, again, is what is going to allow you to track performance based on the different devices once you are running enhanced campaigns. So those are the 2 distinctions. Again, lots of terminology being thrown around, so keep that in mind. There is a difference between campaign merging or migration and URL updating and migration. One can be done independent of the other, so just 2 things to keep in mind there. The next topic here is what types of campaigns can be migrated at any time. So not taking into consideration updating your URLs or merging your campaigns, anything like that. There are 2 types of campaigns that you can merge now, or sorry, you can upgrade to an enhanced campaign currently without too much impact on your accounts. These are campaigns that are running desktop and mobile together. So if at this point, if you are not targeting the 2 types of devices separately, for example, you have 2 campaigns with the same keyword targeting one or the other. So if you don't have that kind of setup and you are just targeting all devices, then you can go ahead and migrate over to enhanced campaigns. And if you set the mobile bid adjustment to 0%, and then adjust it later if you feel that's necessary, this will, for all intents and purposes, allow you to run your campaigns as is, but on the enhanced platform. The other subset of campaigns that you can migrate over currently is desktop and tablet only campaigns. So if you have no mobile targeting whatsoever in your accounts, you can go ahead and change your legacy campaigns to enhanced campaigns, and then set the mobile bid adjustments to negative 100%. And what that will do is make those enhanced campaigns target the desktop and tablets, and put a negative influence on those mobile bids, so that you're pretty much preventing serving the mobile. One thing to keep in mind here is if you have desktop-only campaigns, you will now have to target both desktop and tablet. There's no way to separate those out. So the only adjustments available now are for those mobile bids. The type of campaigns that we've been focusing a lot on helping our marketers transfer over to enhanced campaigns and to update URLs are campaigns that we've been calling sibling, and I think that terminology is pretty widely understood. So sibling campaigns are if your account is running campaigns that are pretty much the same, so same keyword set or very similar, and they're either targeting desktop or mobile. So there'll be a mobile campaign and a desktop campaign. These will need to be merged together. So before doing that, and if you've already done so, it's not the biggest deal. We can definitely help you update your URLs after the fact as well, is to make sure that the URLs are properly updated with the device parameter. Again, it's great if you can do this before you update to enhanced campaigns, only because you will then not have to worry about what is tagged and what isn't tagged. But if you've already migrated, that's fine. That's just going to be less campaigns to update anyway. We do just want to make sure that you have that device parameter there, so you'll be able to track based off of device within our application as well. One other caveat and something to consider waiting for, if bidding by device type is something that is of interest to you, we are updating features within our bidding tools to account for this throughout June. So by the end of June, you will be seeing updates to our bidding feature where you'll be able to take into account desktop and tablet performance separate from the mobile bid adjustments. As of today, it's business as usual before all of the enhanced campaigns, where a keyword is pulling data from whatever campaign it's in. So if it has mobile and desktop and tablet in one campaign, all of that data is being used. But after June, we will be able to provide you with more insight into the mobile bid adjustments that may be necessary for your account. Just to go into the URL migrations or updates, many of you may have already been contacted, but there are set migration dates or target dates for your accounts, and these are determined based off of the configuration of your accounts, and your account team will be reaching out to you in regards to this date. The migration or update is a very collaborative effort between Marin and all of our advertisers. So you're going to be getting lots of communication from your account team and from our specialized enhanced campaign team. We've actually separated out a team internally that is handling these migrations very closely, and they will work with you to make sure all of your URLs are updated accordingly. One thing we do ask is that when you receive your expected migration date, please make sure that you do have resources available on your end to work with us, especially in the double checking of URLs once the updates are made. We just want to make sure that everyone is available to provide QA help since this is a rather large update to everyone's accounts. So just to go over those steps again, the first part of the URL updates will be a discussion with your team. On Marin's side, the URL migration request will go through. Our support team and within that support team, it will be handled by a subset of that team that's been siloed out to handle enhanced campaigns. So they're very, very knowledgeable in this area. And then once that request has gone through, the URLs will be reconfigured to add the device parameter. And then once that's done within Marin's system, you will be reached out to help QA all of the URLs to make sure that before you go into post them into the publisher, that the URLs look okay and we're addressing any issues before they hit the publisher. So that's part 2, where we'll also be reviewing them, but also asking all of our advertisers to help review the reconfigured URLs and then post them to the publisher. It's also very important to monitor after the URL changes have gone through. Again, at this point, after all of the checks, the URL should be clean, but it is a very large change. So we just want to make sure that we are monitoring and you are letting us know if you see any adverse changes in your conversions or your revenue after the URL updates. Please contact us. We want to make sure that it's not due to a badly formed URL. Once you've monitored your accounts after the change and you're happy with the results, just confirm with us that you're comfortable with the revenue data coming into the platform. And at that point, your URL updates are completed. So again, a very collaborative effort on our part and our advertisers. So rest assured, there's always going to be someone here to help you through this process. The next section that we're going to go into are the specific URL parameters that have been introduced to account for the merging of campaigns for this enhanced campaign change. The main one that we will be discussing is the ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameters, as it can get a little bit tricky on how your URLs should be set up to account for using those ValueTrack parameters. For our URL builder, so Marin's URL builder supports a couple of things here. We are now supporting the ifmobile and ifnotmobile ValueTrack parameters. These are parameters that you can use on the keyword, creative, and placement destination URLs. And we'll go into further detail in the next few slides regarding this particular parameter. We're also supporting a device parameter. You will notice that for Google URLs, it will be populated with the squiggly bracket device squiggly bracket. The square bracket device is a text insertion parameter that we have made available so that if you are using the same URL builder throughout your account, or if you are interested in using a similar parameter for other publishers, it is available to you through URL Builder. So as long as you are either using the squiggly bracket device squiggly bracket in Google or using the square bracket device throughout your URL Builder, Marin will append the proper publisher parameter for that device in the destination URL. So those are the two parameters that are newly being supported within Marin's URL Builder. To go into further detail for this new ValueTrack parameter that Google is making available, simply put, what these parameters do is that it will allow advertisers to send users to different landing pages depending on device. So if a user clicks on an ad through a mobile device versus a user coming in from a desktop device, what this parameter will allow all of us to do is send that user to a specific landing page. So for example, if your mobile site is m.example.com, and your non-mobile site, so if somebody is coming through either desktop or tablet, is www.example.com. What the keyword destination URL will look like is a combination of those two, the M and the www, inside of the ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameters. So in red here, we've pointed out the different variables from mobile versus not mobile. And then once the destination URL is actually put together, what that looks like. So you'll see that it starts off with the HTTP as a standard URL would, and it ends with your domain. But before that, it has the ifmobile m dot and the ifnotmobile www dot. And this is how your URLs will look should you choose to use this ValueTrack parameter. So again, this is going to allow for clicks that are coming from ads on a mobile device to go to m dot, and then for clicks from a tablet or desktop computer to go to www dot. So that's a brief overview of how these parameters will work. So if this is a ValueTrack parameter that you're interested in using, I'll be going over how it's being supported through our system, through Marin's system, and a couple of points on what can and can't be done. So for the URL builder, we are supporting the creation of destination URLs, either through an upload in a destination URL or click-through if you're using redirects. And then we'll build the parameters around the URLs with ifmobile, ifnotmobile before pushing them out to Google. So the URLs with this parameter will also run through URL Builder, like I said, and it will also go through autocorrect. There are a few caveats to the support of ifmobile, ifnotmobile when bulk uploading, and we'll go over that in the next slide. Again, parameters will be appended to both destination URLs for non-redirect accounts and for click-through URLs for redirects. So depending on what your specific setup is, you may be using the required parameters section of URL Builder or the redirect section of URL Builder. And either will work with this ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameter. As I said, there are a few notes to keep in mind when using these ValueTrack parameters with URL Builder. Please keep in mind that URL Builder will not append parameters to URLs if there is parameters or a query string inside of the squiggly brackets. So here's a couple of examples on this slide. What will run is having the m dot or even your entire website within that parameter. So m dot versus m.mobilesite.com. So if that's all that's in the ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameter, URL Builder will run just fine. If you do have additional parameters or query strings within the squiggly brackets, so again, here's an example under the what will not run, m.mobilesite.com, and then the question mark and a parameter, so mobile equals true. Same thing with the desktop side. If you do have those parameters in there, URL Builder will not append parameters. The reason why we're doing this is the expected behavior is to avoid using any wrong delimiters or repeating parameters because that can affect tracking and even affect users getting to your site. So while required parameters, which is if you are only appending, so if you're only putting tracking after the landing page, will not run. But if you do have these query strings in the ifmobile, ifnotmobile, we will still wrap it with the redirect. So I'll go into the distinction between required parameters and the redirect in the next few slides, but that is the caveat. If you're only running redirect, if you do have those query strings or additional parameters within the squiggly brackets, it will work. But if you have required parameters that come afterwards, URL Builder does not support that. So a couple of examples here for the way URL Builder is going to build your URLs and what should be uploaded within the Marin account in order to use this ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameter. The next few slides are going to follow a very similar setup where the first URL string there is what is in your URL builder, or an example of what could be in your URL builder. The input URL would be what you upload into Marin, and then the built URL will be what Marin produces as the destination URL for your keyword. So this first example here is for non-redirect clients. So if you look at this screenshot within this slide, if your URL builder, and your URL builder can be found if you go to the admin section of the platform, and then the revenue subtab and URL builder. So if you go into that section and you look at your URL builder, and you notice that the only things that you're using are required parameters, so the top box, what you're going to be doing is uploading destination URLs that look very similar to this input URL here. And Marin will then add all of the required parameters after the URL you've added and apply those to your keywords. So for those of you not using redirects, this will be what the setup looks like. So again, the first string on this slide is what's in your URL builder. The input URL is what you are updating into Marin through your bulk sheets, and the built URL is the end product after the fact. The second example here is if you are using redirects. This is a robust example in that we're showing you an example with a redirect and with required parameters. So if you look at this screenshot on the slide, you'll notice that the required parameters from the previous slide does have some values in it. And then also the redirect portion, which comes right under that, is also filled in. You may not have those required parameters. Whether you do or you don't, if you have a redirect, this slide is going to be applicable to you. So again, the first two strings here, the pub equals and the HTTP, is showing you what is in your URL builder. The input click-through URL, and again, here's the distinction between using redirects and not. For accounts that are not using redirects, you'll be uploading using the destination URL header. For those of you who are using redirects, you are using the click-through URL header to update any of your keywords. So again, the input would be very similar in that you're going to be able to upload using the ifmobile, ifnotmobile. And then the built URL will wrap the ifmobile, ifnotmobile URL with the redirect tracking and append the additional parameters in required parameters. A note here, any special characters within the ifmobile, ifnotmobile will be properly escaped within the encoded click-through URL. So it'll be fine if you have the backslashes or anything like that. That'll be properly encoded. The third example that we'll be going over here is the example if you're using the ifmobile, ifnotmobile parameters as an actual parameter in the URL builder settings. So I want to make this distinction. We have had a lot of questions around what's actually in URL builder. If you're using this ValueTrack parameter, so this Google ValueTrack parameter, if mobile, if not mobile, to flip the website that the user is going to end up on, that is not going to be embedded within URL Builder. The reason why is that that is very specific to the landing page that you are sending your clients or your users to. So it's a very hard thing to just embed, as there's a lot of different variables, even within one account, that can happen depending on if you're sending your users to different parts of the website. So that will not be in URL Builder. However, if you are choosing to use this ValueTrack parameter as an actual trackable value, so not as a parameter in that it's the comes before the equal, for a lack of better explanation. So in this example, you'll notice that the parameter is MOB equals, so mobile equals. And then we're using the if mobile, if not mobile ValueTrack parameters as the value for that tracking parameter. So if that is the way that you want to use, or in addition to using them, this parameter to flip the pages, then it is possible to have it embedded into URL Builder so that it's always there. So that's the distinction that I do want to make. If you're only using this to flip the URLs, which is most of the use cases that I'm seeing, then it will not be permanently in URL Builder. It will be part of your bulk upload sheet. And then if you are using this as a tracking value, then this would be the example here where you'll see that the if mobile true, if not mobile false is in the URL builder and will be appended after your URL. So those are the three examples of how this if mobile, if not mobile is used within the URL builder, and what is an example of what's being uploaded into Marin. A few things to keep in mind when using this if mobile, if not mobile ValueTrack parameter. As a best practice, we're recommending that you don't put the HTTP protocols inside of the actual ValueTrack parameter. But please do ensure that it lives outside of it. This is going to work just like any other destination URL upload. If you don't have that HTTP protocol in there, the bulk upload won't work. So just make sure, and again, examples here of what not to do in red, where the HTTP is within the parameters, and what to do to make sure you do is to have that protocol outside of the parameters. So the if mobile and the if not mobile are going to basically take the place of your current destination URL, and then have the HTTP protocol before that. I think you may have noticed that there are a few different examples that we are using when showing the if mobile, if not mobile parameter. Our recommendation is to put as little text as possible within the expression. So common text should be outside of the squiggly brackets. Again, it's fine, it works to put, say m.mobilesite.com in one subset of the parameter and then the www.desktopsite.com in another. That does work. If you do only have a difference between the m dot and the www dot. So for example, this example here, you'll notice on the end in green, you'll notice example.com lives outside of the brackets. So if the only difference between your mobile and your non-mobile site is the first part, then we do recommend having the actual domain outside of the squiggly bracket just to keep it very simple and clean. Another thing to keep in mind is that the if mobile, if not mobile expressions with a full URL. So that would be this example up here with the whole site all the way to the .com inside of the parameters is not supported for creatives. You can, however, use the example below here where there is just the M and the www in the parameter for creatives. If you do need to send your users to completely separate pages, as in the top examples, then creating a mobile preferred ad with a different site for the mobile preferred ad versus your desktop ad is suggested. Again, if you are utilizing keyword level URLs or placement level URLs, this isn't the biggest issue, but if you are using, say, creative level URLs to track and send your users to your site, just something to keep in mind is that if you are sending your users to completely separate sites, that you will have to utilize the mobile preferred ad if you're going to have everything in those ValueTrack parameters. And again, this is a quick reiteration, but query strings or additional parameters inside of the if mobile, if not mobile ValueTrack will only be supported for redirects. So if you are using non-redirect URLs, this is something you might want to reach out to your account team on and just make sure that you're setting up your URLs correctly before uploading. Another thing to keep in mind here is when you're testing your URLs when using these ValueTrack parameters, we have seen cases where we've gotten questions on, well, I've tried to load this URL using the ValueTrack parameters, but it's not working, or it's being sent to a 404 page, or something is breaking along the process. It's important to remember that the entire string with the ValueTrack, if mobile, if not mobile ValueTrack parameter, can't be tested as is. The reason being that the URL isn't actually resolved until Google serves the ad. So once somebody clicks on that ad, Google will then say, okay, this is coming from a mobile device, or this is not coming from a mobile device, and append the proper variables that you've put inside the squiggly brackets and send your users to that page. So because that process is not happening unless there's a click involved and it is handled on Google's side, just pasting or trying to click on the destination URL through Marin's platform will not work. So in order to test these two variations, you just want to take what's in those brackets and test those out separately. So in this case, the two tests that you would run would be to take the M dot and the www dot that's in the squiggly brackets, put them to the actual page and test those out. So that's one area that can get a bit confusing. I know we all want to make sure everything is working just right, and it becomes a little bit more of a process when using parameters that are going to be used with a bit of variability. So in this case, the variable is where that click came from. So please do keep that in mind when you are testing out your URLs and using the ifmobile, ifnotmobile Google ValueTrack parameters. So I know we've spent a lot of time on the that specific ValueTrack parameter, and the reason being is it is very new, and we are receiving a lot of questions around how to best use those parameters. So we just wanted to make sure that we've covered off on that in detail. And again, all of this is available in our help section, and you can easily reach out to your account team as well. The next portion here that I wanted to go over is a few updates that you may have heard of and how these are going to be accessible within your platform. So I'm sure a lot of people have questions on the reporting by device now that we are including those device parameters within the URLs. The first release of reporting by device is on a campaign level, and this was introduced into the application very recently at the end of May. This is not a general feature that you're going to automatically see within your account. What needs to happen first is that your URLs do need to be updated with the device parameter. Without that, we're not going to be able to give you a breakout of the conversions and the revenue by device. So that is a requirement to have that device parameter in your URL. Once that is done, our product team is rolling out this feature throughout our user base. So you will see it in your account if that parameter, if you've already gone through the migration of your URLs. It may not be instant as this is going on a rolling basis. The reason being is, again, very large change. We want to make sure that no one is adversely affected with so much additional data flowing through the platform. So we're doing this in a segmented way to make sure that everything is stable. So again, if you've already been updated to the device parameter, you should be on a list where our product team is making this sub-tab with additional columns in the view builder available to you. So please be on the lookout for that if you've officially gone through the URL updates with our team. If you have not, reach out to your account team and they could let you know if there are any roadblocks to you getting this feature, again, such as the device parameter not being there. And they're work with you on getting you to a place where this feature is available to you. One thing, as we're talking about all of these parameters, that I do want to point out is you may, if you are solely on Marin Tracker as your tracking solution, you may have had discussions with your account team noting that the device parameter is not necessary for your account. I just wanted to bring that up because there are accounts that do not need any sort of updating. And again, these are mostly, they're going to be tracker-only accounts where that is, Marin Tracker is your way of tracking conversions. And there may be a few other considerations. So if your account team has reached out to you and let you know that no updates to your URLs are needed, then that's great. Make sure that that's clear on your end as well. Again, this is an account-by-account setup difference. So most of you will be using the device parameter, but there may be a subset of our advertisers who do not need to update their URLs. So if you do fall under that, these different types of device reporting will be available to you without the device parameter. But again, that's just a subset of our advertisers who are only using Marin Tracker. So just a quick note there regarding some differences you may notice with your accounts. And from here, I just want to go quickly into a few points on unified campaigns for Yahoo Japan. And if we have time at the end, I would like to run through a couple of different areas in the application that you might be noticing enhanced campaign updates in. So please stay tuned for that. I'm just going to quickly run through for those advertisers that may have Yahoo Japan accounts. We are supporting the migration to unified campaigns, very similar to enhanced campaigns for Google. So here's the list of initial support, so the creation, sync, and management of unified campaigns, the migration of legacy campaigns to unified, campaign level settings, mobile preferred ads, and views, so very similar to enhanced campaigns. Two settings that you'll notice within the application for your Yahoo Japan accounts. You'll notice that there is a unified or a legacy selection option, just like with the legacy versus enhanced for Google. There'll be a smartphone bid adjustment field and also a smartphone preferred ad type selection in your Creatives tab. So again, very similar support. One difference that I do want to point out here is that Yahoo Japan does have a very similar setup with the parameters used to send users to a mobile site versus a not mobile site. But on their end, the only thing that is supported is to have the first segment, so the M-dot part, in the parameters. So you will not be able to use full URLs within the Yahoo Japan parameters for flipping pages. So just keep that in mind if that is applicable to you. Great. So that is the section of the webinar that mostly covers the URLs and how we're supporting them, and the if mobile, if not mobile parameters. I do quickly want to switch on over here to the platform and just let you know a few places that you might be noticing changes within the platform. So one of the most visible changes will be under your campaign and your creative settings pages. You're going to notice that there is a legacy and an enhanced button. If you do go over to enhanced campaigns, you cannot go back until the mandated day of July 22nd to switch everything over. Anything that's created in Marin is going to be a legacy campaign. But if you do update anything to enhanced, it's a one-way switch, so you will not be able to go back. If you do have enhanced campaigns within your account, you're also going to notice the mobile bid adjustments here. You'll be able to increase or decrease by a certain percentage. And again, for your creatives, if you go to the creatives and go into a setting, you're going to notice this mobile preferred button next to device preference. So that will be there as well. And all of this is supported through a bulk upload as well. And I will show you where you can find those headers and the values within the help section. The uploads are going to be very similar to what you're used to, just with some extra headers in there to account for the enhanced campaign updates. So I just wanted to point those out because you may be noticing them within the application. And another section here that I want to point out is within our help section. If you navigate up top to enhanced campaign resources, many of the topics we covered today and many other additional topics will be available for your reference. It's a great place to go for your initial questions. A lot of different examples, for example, the if mobile, if not mobile that we talked about today, are laid out for you in an article with lots of examples. So it's a really, really great resource to use. And also, we have an article that I think everyone should at least skim through is this platform support. It's going to walk you through the settings that I just briefly showed you. And also, we'll list under Phase 1 and 2 the bulk aspect of running enhanced campaigns within Marin. So it's going to give you the different columns that are now available to update as highlighted here. And it will also give you the values that are available for bulk upload. So please do use that as a reference when setting up your bulk sheets. And if you have any questions, reach out to your account team and they'll be able to help you there. One question that I do want to address here is what happens with Bing being included within your uploads. If you do have Bing creatives, say, being uploaded with your Google creatives for certain headers like device preference, if you keep that blank, you'll still be able to utilize one upload. So if you have ads that you're creating, and for Google you want to make them mobile preferred for some of them and not, you'll have mobile and none as the values under device preference. And then for Bing, you'll just keep that blank, and we'll be able to handle that upload all in one. So no need to separate out your Bing and your Google to account for these additional headers that are available for bulk upload. Just keep the values blank for Bing, and it'll work as is, as it always has been. So a question that I'm getting from the group here, and again, we do have a couple of minutes, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them in, is the asking for a bit more clarification on the use of different websites for mobile versus not mobile, and the creative level URLs. So if you do have totally different sites that you want to send to your users to, the only thing that you cannot do is to have the whole website in the if mobile, if not mobile ValueTrack parameter. So on the keyword level, you can definitely have the if mobile, if not mobile. And then on the creative level, what you would do is you would create a desktop ad and a mobile preferred ad. And the creatives will have different URLs. So for all intents and purposes, if you're doing, if you are running URLs at the keyword level, what you have in your creatives is basically a backup. So you can just have your separate URLs up there, and that's fine. You'll still be able to use one URL for your keyword. If you are doing creative level tracking and you have no URLs at the keyword level whatsoever, then having two separate creatives, one that's mobile preferred and one that's not, and each of those having the desktop versus mobile page will work. So that, I hope, clarifies it a little bit. I know it's a little bit convoluted in what what can be used where. But just, again, if you are using completely different URLs, the only issue becomes if you're only tracking on the creative level. And it's a very small issue where you just need to create desktop versus mobile preferred URLs and have the destination URLs be different there. Great. So we are out of time. If you have any further questions, please do feel free to reach out to your account team, or again, as shown here, go into the help section. The way you can get there is through the help link up top on the platform, which will then send you to the help section. And going to the Enhanced Campaigns resources, you'll be able to access a lot of this information that we covered today at your convenience. So please do utilize that. Thank you very much for joining our webinar today. Again, this has been recorded and will be made available to you through an email and through the help section that you see here. So please do reference that. We do have more webinars coming up on feature enhancements and other topics such as bidding and Facebook in the future. So feel free to sign up for any of those. We did just do a webinar on feature enhancements this week that will be uploaded into Zendesk within the next few days as well. So please feel free to utilize all of those resources. Have a great day, everyone, and feel free to reach out with any questions. Thank you.